same old cycle that they got there. Just want to suck in and drag in the public into some nonsense, some nonsensical, illogical, just drama that's clouding our judgments, everyday decisions that we witnessing the realest devil that we ever known to mankind right now. It's strong in the air, man. You gotta be careful because the unknown, the unthinkable, people are just snapping quick in the blink of an eye before you can even, try to relax and try to talk it through. You know what I'm saying? Don't just let everything break you down and collapse. And now, you see them skyscrapers is falling down up there. It's a whole nother level in that town right now that they're going through. I mean, the dark clouds is really present. They holding New York down, man. Mamdini, ever since Mamdini took over, man, there ain't no justice up there. It's like, chaotic. Every time you turn around, it's a new story that they producing, and they got it trending. It's the topic, a discussion. What's up, chat, man? You see us, man. We talking about this story going on out there in New York, man. It's terrible. For me, they trying to make it about a race, and they want us to just have that hate when it's like you don't even know these people, you don't know it's isolated, and you trying to put it all in one. You don't want to paint them with one brush, you don't want to be painted, so why paint the next person? I'm in my skin, man. I'm out here, man, doing what I do for the people, preaching, giving them this word of God, man, because we in a real bind right now that we gotta pay attention to bigger problems. Like, we gotta focus on that. They trying to distract us. What happened to Jamal Parker that went missing out there in Atlanta, and now his girlfriend just got locked up? We understand, but loud and clear, they pick and choose who they gonna promote when it comes to the coverage. It's like nobody even knew, except for probably who lived out there, what was going on until today. Now it hit the news. They said his girlfriend was a part of that whole crew, that got rid of him. His dad couldn't even have a funeral for him. It's sad because, he passed away, and, his family can't mourn, because it's going to have to be a closed casket because they don't even have the whole body. His parts missing. It's a catastrophe, man. It's like, what happened to Jamal Parker, man? Justice for Jamal Parker. How we just gonna ignore that situation? You know what I'm saying? Nobody even knew. It didn't get no coverage. Like, it's harder and harder now for people to do the right thing and say, you know what? If you're gonna do that for one, do that for all for one, man. Why separate and divide and trying to cause a collision for people to collide? It's like we're not living like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not our responsibility. You know what I'm saying? We out here at peace. We living in these, communities free. No confrontation, no even an argument. We just out here, delivering the message of God because that's what we choose to do. And people are getting robbed, people are getting scammed out here by these influencers who's not really being honest or compassionate. They just want your time, they want your energy, what I'm saying, that they want to provide that service, they want to see enemies and people, hurting each other instead of saying, I want to see positivity, coming and spreading it from one another. That's the mindset and the mentality I got. I think that it comes from God, from not having always being provided with show prior to let out your struggles, your hurt. It happens to the best of us, man, but we get older, we work harder to understand how we gotta be smart at the end of the day. Like, we gotta get focused up. It can't be about, black and white, and you don't even have evidence, but you just quick to judge and say everything is about race or about motivating with that mindset. You know what I'm saying? You can't always say it because to be truthful and honest, what we do to each other is worse than what anybody is saying. Like, look at this brother Jamal Parker. You heard it here first. You probably don't even know who Jamal Parker is. You know what I'm saying? Or this is somebody who got robbed of their life, just for being themselves, just for being who they are. What's up, Ethan? Appreciate you coming through. I'm here, man. I'm delivering raw, live for you to see it in person, so you can be comfortable and understand. We all hurting, man. We all out here working towards a better future. And if you're not, then you're a problem, and you're in the way because you refuse to change, and now other people are doing better, and you're going to look back to the old ways. That's not where they're trying to be, so why are you forcing them to have to dumb themselves down? You know what I'm saying? When they growing, you know what I'm saying? They getting better, they opening up to the world, they expose. Now they want to try to catch them, before you reach that peak. They see you keep being persistent, you keep reaching the crowd, and you listen, earned your keep, and you stuck around, and you see the journey, and you just want to be, yourself. You just want to live in your own bubble, because you're worthy of that. You are somebody, and that's what matters. We all got each other's back. We probably gonna need it more than we know. That's why you gotta build that network. You gotta have that effect to tap into, to let things be released and relieved, from having stressing. I mean, please, man, God, lessons, the Bible, that right there was a weapon. You learn it, you understand how to teach it. You turn it around and you use it to be in a whole other mental. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing is gonna offend you, nothing is gonna break you down. Because that foundation that you found through God, you know what I'm saying? You're chasing that. I chase Jesus, you know what I'm saying? I don't chase the bag, I don't chase what I see people following. I'm leading, I'm doing my own thing. So it's like, I just read it, I listen, I'm being in my own skin, working towards building and getting in, having this healing spiritual breakthrough live. The Holy Ghost, people gonna catch it. So you gotta come in, you gotta notice the passion that I'm putting in, the food, the care. Because we have it somewhere in our hearts. But we try to hide it, having those walls up. It's hard, living like that day to day, You're stressing yourself out. You gotta have consistency. You build on that. When you got that, then you can really be established. You know what I'm saying? You putting out as much as you want to get in. When you feel it in your heart, you're not pretending, you're not trying to be too smart for your bridges. And you bridge the gap. And you sit in and you work together with what you got. Then you will always cherish that. You will always worship, what he delivers at the opportunity when you really needed it versus when you already have it. Because now you could see, you could go back, you could be, rejoice for the breath, the family, the life, the steps that you took to make it right. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pull back sometimes, man. It's powerful. People will attract that same energy. You know what I'm saying? The light can shine in and it can motivate you. And you can laugh, you can live, you can smile. It's alright. You don't have to be angry, at nobody. I have to live like, you know what I'm saying? We all gonna go through everyday livelihood as humans. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own tolerance. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta pay attention to what you're doing. You know what I mean? A lot of eyes watching. You know what I'm saying? And they using that to judge. Even if, you just acting or you not even always, one way. Sometimes you can have multiple ways of, coming to a conclusion. But it's all the psychology, of the circumstances, the environment. That's what you gotta really, embody. We all gotta do it. We all gotta work on manners and how we treat each other and use that golden rule because what makes sense to you should be the same for your neighbor and for your brother. You know what I mean? And you gotta have that grace and understand what people are going through because we see Americans, millions, you know, are facing evictions. They're facing, you know, rent freezes. I mean, listen, we're seeing things happening in history with these bills. You know, Trump passing these bipartisan bills and birthrights that it's getting scary. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is competition now, everything is transactional to where, you know, it never been pretty, but it's just getting uglier day by day, you know, especially in big cities like that. It's like, hold on, it's nothing but, you know, people cutting through, trying to put themselves at a, you know, more valuable position than the next man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sometimes, you know, it's not worth getting in that confrontation or that battle. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'd rather have my life than to try to challenge or to try to, you know, straddle the fence. You know, I'm polite. I just live. You know, and if I see I got an opportunity to walk away, I'd rather be the bigger man than, you know, sit up here. Now it comes into a violent altercation. You know what I'm saying? And it's dangerous because you don't have the respect that you will have, you know, moving forward. You know, staying on a stable level. You know, keeping things cordial for the community. You know, so you gotta be level-headed. Exercises. You know, I use exercise as a mental strategy. You know what I'm saying? When I feel I'm getting a little too over the edge, you know, or aggressive. And, you know, it actually works because now I could do more and I feel like I'm letting it out in the right way, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I come down and I show you guys, you know, my everyday routines, what I put in my body. You know, you see how they got them parasites and, you know, all of these states now affecting people, they getting sick. So you gotta look into that. You gotta make sure that you get the right stuff. And that's what it is. That's the truth. Keeping it real, man. The transition, you know, the evolution is what you're really gonna feel after we build this room and, you know, we get these subscribers do what I need them to do, you know what I'm saying? And we take the chance to rise. We high rising and rolling right now because we hold platforms accountable to push out the messages to who's open to receive them. We see it and we're letting it flow like the river, man. Taking accountability every day. Make sure y'all go check out all my videos. Just drop. I'm getting the information for the people so they can now use it to feed their family. Cop them how to do monetize subscribers, views, boost all of that up. Get on the YouTube game because that's the new web. I mean, and it's not new, but a lot of new influencers and channels are being and letting through the door. You know what I'm saying? And then getting that light shined on them for other sponsors, you know, to give people contracts or deals, you know. 360s, they looking real, they sweet, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you see somebody like me who got prepared and accept my defeats and my losses and I chalk them up. You know, I'm still going to be able to invest for years to come off of this because now I built the support and I got the audience to push them places and more, you know what I'm saying, important ways that thank you for that like family that we you know, we saving because we saving, we got our purpose and we need to let it spoil and not get used for, you know, a great purpose that, you know, we would love to give all the time, you know what I'm saying, because as I get more and more popular and more clients, we're going to have to cater to them, so soon we don't have to go into subscribers only mode, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, that's just the way that we carry it. Catching it, we going viral, cold, the way we able to put together the words, motivation for the higher you, the better self, the new and improved, the wellness program, the health, protein, snacks. You can't do it by yourself. I'm teaching you in real life. You gotta get back to the discipline. You gotta attract the positivity. You gotta manifest. You gotta live in this truth. Because what's coming next, nobody knows, but God is coming soon. And He's gonna grow, He's gonna spread. And whoever doesn't want to go, whoever doesn't want to rejoice and repent for the sins, then you gotta leave it to God. We can't let nobody try to fool us into thinking that they're gonna change and they not. Hi, what's up, Destiny? That's good. Keep working out. You know, it's very consequential and exceptional in building character. And, you know, it's educational. You have to be patient. You got to be resilient to keep staying and keep paving the way for those coming. You know what I'm saying? The young ones, like, that's the motivation right there. Even the old ones, you know, some of us old, we want to, you know, get back in the field. We want to be like those young YNs, you know, those chill vibes. But our knees, our elbows don't work the same, so we live through y'all, you know. That's good. You know, Christianity It's very promising. It's very, disciplined. And you really gotta understand a lot of it, the sacred, the Holy Spirit, and the Trinity is always gonna arrive in its truest form. And you was chosen for this path. You gotta get baptized. You gotta have that form, that innocence, that passion to be better and perform and know that you your own worst enemy. Only you is getting in your way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta be soft, you gotta be leather, you gotta be able to have that warmth, that cloth, because we cut from a different cloth no matter what. We always been cut from a different cloth since birth. So it's not to be taken lightly. You can't mistake kindness for weakness all the time. You catch more bees with honey than you do with flies. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm on, man. Y'all know where to catch me. Make sure y'all all like, comment, subscribe, so that we could get these live streams pushed out to the right guys and girls. The audience is what's the most important when it comes to this world, because now those are gonna be like your seeds. These are gonna be your representatives, and they can curl you up. They can hold you and get you through those curves. When people is throwing them rocks, it's like they want to serve two masters, and it's not gonna work. You gotta have that discipline, but also that wisdom, that support. That's gonna keep you alert for everything that you was taught. So you gotta be prepared for the wars. You gotta pray for the best. When you have those intentions, when you have that cause, sometimes you gotta witness things that are not always gonna be soft. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be tough. But when you're a warrior and you move as such, then nothing is gonna take you out of your route, off your turf. So you can step in, you can step out at your free will. Deliver the right routes. It's like the NFL, it's like sports. You in the back with the wide receiver. That pass, that catch, it's all the chemistry that you gotta believe in something eventually, because faith without works is dead. There's nothing out here that you should be searching for without having your head and having your situation. All in all, everything will come in time, but as long as you're patient, never mind, it's worth it in the end. So realize that you live in time and time again. The limits pushed, the benefits will be able to look very profitable. kids, but you gotta feed them. You just can't push them out the nest, feed them to the wolves, and then they left for dead, and now it's a triple effect. It's a trifecta. When we move as a community, when we move as a village, this is how we protect the brand, protect the children, women, everybody living. Once again, proudly, positive. Hey man, I see y'all out there in the chat. Make sure y'all hit that like button, family, for real. So we can continue to keep going up, man, because that's what it takes. A village. So let's make sure we do the right thing. Hit that like button. Because we're ready and we're willing, to heal and be a spiritual father. We are his children. He's our father. We deal with things as they come. We don't rush. He knows before we even get to that time. So you gotta make sure you got enough will and love to give, because it's real. They live, but are they really living? Because everybody dies, but not everybody lives in the way that you can worship God, and he can say that love that you have, that passion.
Here's the J mics. Here's the J mics and going for naps. Yeah.
That mud that you've been in, that dirt, he's gonna wash it away like the sins, straight up. Because you gotta have your worth in order with your path. You gotta do the work. So you can't be mad at the results. So that's what it is, taking all questions, comments, engage. What's up, family? We here. Going to work, literally. This is our job, man. First to the first. 30 days, 30 nights, man. We here. We popping them like a perk.